Right now, somewhere in this country, it is raining. Tens of thousands of gallons of clean, soft, free water are falling on the roof of a house. They are running down the gutter, splashing into a downspout, washing across a driveway, flowing past a sidewalk, and disappearing into a storm grate at the curb. That water is gone. It is not feeding the soil. It is not watering the trees. It is not soaking into the ground around the house. It is on its way to the nearest river and from there to the ocean. And the same week that water leaves, the man who lives in that house is going to walk out into his dying yard with a garden hose in his hand and pay the water company to give him back water that the sky already gave him for free. I have not paid a meaningful water bill for outdoor irrigation in my life. My pasture stays green in August when the neighbors' lawns are the color of straw. My corn yields better than the farms on either side of mine, and I have never once stood in a field with a hose or a sprinkler or any kind of irrigation rig. The reason has nothing to do with luck and nothing to do with the weather. It has to do with what my great-grandfather did to this land in the 1800s, what my grandfather added in the 20s, and what my own father taught me to keep doing every spring of my life. If this kind of old knowledge is useful to you, hit subscribe. There is more of it coming. There is a piece of concrete between your house and the street that is the single biggest reason your yard cannot drink. It is your sidewalk, and underneath it, hidden in plain sight, is a path to thousands of gallons of free water that is being routed past your property every time it rains. I am going to show you exactly how to redirect that water onto your own land, what it costs, who you hire for the part you cannot do yourself, and what the finished system looks like. Let me start with what most folks do not understand about water, because if you do not understand this, none of the rest will help you. When I was about 8 years old, my grandfather took me out to the kitchen garden one morning in April. He was carrying 2 clay flower pots, both the same size, both filled with the same garden soil. In the first pot, he mounded the soil up into a little hill in the middle, smooth, rounded. In the second pot, he pressed his thumb down into the middle and made a shallow bowl, a little dip, the way you would shape soil if you were about to plant a tree. He handed me a bean and told me to push it into the top of the hill in the first pot. He handed me another and told me to drop it into the bowl in the second. Then he said, "Every morning before breakfast, bring a cup of water out here and pour half on each pot. Same amount, same time, same place. We will see what we see." I did this for 3 weeks. The bean in the hill never came up, not once. No matter how much water I poured on it, the water just rolled down the sides of the mound and ran off the lip of the pot. The bean in the bowl came up on the 8th day. By July it was climbing a stick. My grandfather did not explain what he was teaching me. He pointed at the neighbor's yard across the lane, flat, smooth, sloped slightly away from the house toward the road, and he said, "That yard is the hill in the pot." Then he pointed at our garden, which was terraced and shaped, and he said, "This one is the bowl. I have never forgotten it. It is the single most important idea in this whole video. The shape of your yard determines whether it drinks the rain or whether it sheds the rain. That is the entire game. Almost every house in America has a yard shaped like the hill because builders bulldoze the lot flat, slope it away from the foundation, and pour a sidewalk and a curb on top of it. The water hits the roof, runs down the gutter, hits the driveway, hits the sidewalk, hits the curb, and the entire system is designed to move it away from your house as fast as possible. Your builder did not give you a yard. He gave you a roof tilted out toward the road with a series of concrete barriers between the rain and your soil. The biggest of those barriers is your sidewalk. It is the wall between your yard and where the water is going. If you put one small hole through that wall, a 4-inch pipe set in concrete, sloped so water flows from the street side back into your yard, you change everything. When it rains, the water that would have run past your sidewalk into the storm grate gets diverted underneath the sidewalk and back into your yard, into a system you have built to catch it. The first thing you have to know is that you cannot cut the sidewalk yourself. In almost every town in America, the sidewalk is technically public property. You hire a sidewalk contractor. They have the saw. They have the city permit. They know the rules. In most towns, it will cost you somewhere between $500 and $1,000 to cut a section, embed the pipes, and pour the concrete back. That is one payment, one time. After that, you have a system that catches free water for the next 50 years. If your town will not let you cut the sidewalk, you do a curb cut instead, where the water from the street is allowed to flow directly into a depression you have dug in your front yard. Same idea, same result. When the contractor comes, you tell him this. You want 2 4-inch PVC pipes set into the new concrete, running from the street side to the yard side, sloped about 2 inches downward toward the yard. 2 pipes, not one, so if one clogs with leaves, the other still works. The pipes need to stick out a little on both sides so you can connect to them later. That is the only part you pay someone else for. The rest you do yourself with a shovel. We are partway through this. If you are finding it useful, subscribe. New video every week, and I never waste your time. Now let us keep going. On your side of the sidewalk, you dig a trench. It runs from the ends of those 2 pipes back into your yard, sloping gently downhill. 10 or 15 feet is plenty for most lots. At the end of that trench, you dig the most important hole in your whole yard. We call it a soaking pit. A soaking pit is a round hole about 3 feet across and 3 to 4 feet deep. You line the bottom with about a foot of coarse gravel, the kind with big chunks, the size of your thumb. On top of that, a layer of smaller stone, pea-size. The whole thing acts like a sponge. Water pours in, sinks down through the gravel, and from there it spreads sideways into the soil. The plants and trees within 30 feet of that pit will be the healthiest on the whole lot. The 2 pipes from under the sidewalk come into the top of that pit. When it rains, water flows from the street, through the pipes, under the sidewalk, down the trench, and dumps into the soaking pit. From there it feeds everything growing nearby. No standing water, no mosquito breeding, no swamp, just gravel under sod with the output of one good rainstorm sitting underneath it being slowly drunk by the soil. A man down the road from me tried this last summer. He had a big maple tree by his front porch that was dying, leaves browning in July, branches dropping. He paid a contractor $600 to cut the sidewalk and set 2 pipes. He dug the trench and the pit himself on a Saturday afternoon. The next summer that same tree was full and green and putting out new growth. He told me he had not watered it once. He just stopped letting the rain run away from it. That is what 1 weekend of work and 1 contractor's invoice will do for your yard. Now I want to take it 1 step further, because the system I just described is good, but you can make it better. And this is the part my grandfather built into this farmhouse in the 1920s, which has been feeding water to this garden for 100 years. Above ground, between the sidewalk and the soaking pit, you can set a barrel in the trench with the 2 pipes feeding into it from one side and an overflow pipe out the other side going to the soaking pit. The barrel acts like a buffer. Most of the water that comes through during a rainstorm fills the barrel first. The overflow, only the excess, goes to the soaking pit. Now you have stored water you can use directly. Put a tap on the barrel low down. Hook a garden hose to it. When you want to water your tomatoes or fill the chicken's water dish, you turn on the tap on the barrel. Free water, gravity-fed, no pump, no electricity, no bill. A 55-gallon plastic drum runs about $30 at any farm supply store. It pays itself off in about 1 season. The cistern under this kitchen is the same idea, just bigger and underground. It is a stone-lined room 8 feet deep, 12 feet long. It holds 9,000 gallons. The gutters of the house pour straight into it. A hand pump on the kitchen counter draws water up from it. 100 years old, and it has not missed a season. Cisterns like this are not exotic. 100 years ago, almost every house in America had one. There is a neighborhood in Columbus, Ohio called German Village. If you walked it today and looked underground, you would find a brick cistern buried beneath nearly every property. The same is true in old parts of Philadelphia, of Baltimore, of any city that grew up before municipal water lines. People knew the sky was the source. They built to catch it. Then the water companies came. The cisterns got filled in with dirt. The gutters got pointed at the storm sewer. A generation later, nobody remembered there was a brick room under the kitchen. Think about who profits when your rain runs into the storm sewer. The water utility profits. Every gallon of rain that washes off your roof and disappears down the street is a gallon they get to sell you back. A typical American household uses 30 to 50% of its water on outdoor irrigation, lawns, gardens, flower beds, all of it purchased from a utility at a utility rate when it could have been free and on-site. The lawn care industry profits. A yard that cannot drink the rain needs constant irrigation, constant fertilizer, constant treatment. Every dollar you spend on sprinkler systems and lawn services is money you would not be spending if the shape of your yard let it drink for itself. The landscaping industry profits. Flat lots are cheap to build and easy to mow. Builders standardized on flat because flat is fast, and the consequence, that your yard cannot hold water, was never their problem. Even the stormwater bond market profits. Towns go into debt to build bigger pipes, bigger tunnels, bigger flood control systems, all to handle the runoff from yards that were never designed to hold their own water. Underground storm tunnels in some cities now cost $1 billion apiece. That debt is paid back by your tax dollars. We did not lose this knowledge by accident. We lost it because somebody benefited from the loss. Old Hill Farms kept it because they had to. When you do not have a water company, you catch your own rain. When you have caught your own rain for 150 years, you do not forget how. Here is what I want you to do. Walk out to your sidewalk during the next hard rain, stand on it and watch. Watch where the water from your yard goes when it hits the concrete. Watch where the water from the street goes when it runs down the gutter past your house. Watch the storm grate at the corner take everything in. That is the water you are losing. That is the money you are paying to replace it. Then make a plan. Call a sidewalk contractor and get a quote on cutting one section and setting 2 4-inch pipes through it. While you wait, dig your trench and your soaking pit. Buy a barrel. The whole project costs somewhere between $500 and $1,200 all in. It pays itself off in 2 seasons. It works for the next 50 years. If your town will not let you cut the sidewalk, do the curb cut. If you cannot do the curb cut, run a 4-inch flexible pipe from your downspout straight to a soaking pit in the middle of your yard. Any of these work. Any of these get you free water out of the sky and into the soil where it belongs. Tell me in the comments where you live, what your sidewalk looks like, where your downspouts point, and tell me if you do the work. I want to hear how it goes. Next time I am going to take you down into the stone cistern under this kitchen, the inside of it, the hand pump, the gravity feed pipe that runs to the garden, and walk you through what it would cost to build a smaller version under your own house. You will not believe how affordable it is when you stop letting other people sell you the water the sky is already giving you for free. Until then, walk your land, watch the water, and take care of what is yours.